Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Julie and today I'm going to show you how to make a flapjack octopus. They are very easy to make, super quick, and they are the cutest thing. For this pattern you can use any yarn you like, any hook size. Just for a quick example, here we have a chenille, normal chenille with a 4.5mm. This is the exact same, but it's slightly smaller because this is Parfait, Premier Parfait, and this is Jelly Baby, if I remember correctly. And this one is tiny. This was made with a 3.25mm, and the yarn is Rico Rumi Nilly Nilly. For this project you will need your chosen yarn, some stitch markers, a pair of scissors, your hook, some safety eyes. I use 10 or 12mm. I'm not sure yet which size. I'll decide when I cross that bridge. Some toy stuffing. I use polyester, and that's it. That's all you need. Just for reference, today I'm using chenille. This is Baby Snuggle, and I'm using a 4.5mm hook. For round 1, we're going to do a magic ring of 8 single crochet. If you struggle with the magic ring, there's loads of amazing videos on YouTube to help you out. For round 2, we're going to do 8 increases. So it's 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So that's the first one. I'm going to show you just 1 single crochet. Place a stitch marker on your first stitch to keep track. And then another single crochet in the exact same stitch. So that's an increase. Like so. And then, whoops. And then 2, and we're going to do the same thing all around, so you should end up with 16 at the end of this round. So that's the end of round 2. We now have 16 single crochet, and for round 3, that's where we're going to make the fins. So we're going to start with a single crochet, stitch marker. So for the fins, the first thing to do is grab another stitch marker. If you don't have more, you can always use a piece of yarn. And we are going to mark the back loop of the stitch. So if you look at a stitch, you have 2 parts. You have the front loop, which is this one here. It's hard to see with chenille, but it usually creates a V. You can see in between my hook. So that's the front loop, that's the closest to you. And the further away from you here is the back loop. So we're just going to mark the back loop because we're going to work in the front loop, and the back loop is going to be used in the next round. So make sure that you mark it because it can be quite hard to see when the round is done. So I'm marking the back loop, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with a half double crochet. You yarn over your hook, insert your hook inside the front loop only, yarn under, pull through, yarn over and pull through the 3 loops on your hook. That's a half double crochet. Next we're going to do 2 double crochet, and again they're all done in the same stitch. So 2 double crochet. To do a double crochet, you yarn over, insert your hook in the front loop, yarn under, pull through, yarn over and pull through only the first 2 loops on your hook. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. And I'm going to yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops on my hook. So that's a double crochet. I'm going to do one more. So yarn over, insert in your front loop, yarn under, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. And we're going to do another half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the front loop, yarn under, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And then we're going to do again same stitch, front loop. We're going to do a slip stitch. Slip stitch is simply to yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop that's on your hook. So that's one fin done. It should look like this. For the fins, you don't count what you've done. For the whole fin, so 5 should be in total, you have 2 half double crochet and 2 double crochet plus the single slip stitch. So you have 5. We've done 5 stitches in total, but at the end of the round, a whole fin is counted as 1 stitch. And you can remember it by the back loop. This is going to be the stitch we're going to use. It's just 1 stitch in your final count. From here, we're going to go into the next stitch. So you can pull your work a little bit to see where the next stitch is. And if you pull up, you're going to see where you are. And where we're going to go is in that one. That's the next stitch. So we're going to do a single crochet. And next is an increase. So 2 in the same. 1, 2, that's an increase. And then we're going to do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then another increase. 1, 2, and a single crochet. And in the next one, we'll do our second fin. So I'll do it with you. And again, I'm going to mark the back loop. And I'm going to start with my half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the front loop only, yarn under, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And then double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn under, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and yarn over, pull through all the loops. And again, yarn over, in, out. And another half double crochet, yarn over, insert, yarn under, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all the loops. And we finish with a slip stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop. And for your next stitch, which is that one here, I'm going to do a single crochet and an increase in the next stitch. 1, 2, and then 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. So 1 and 2. At the end of the round, you should have 20 stitches. So just to show you, we have the first one here. We don't count the next 5, so just to show you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's your slip stitch. We count all of this as 1, so just remember with your back loop. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we have our fin. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. For round 4, we're going to do 4 increases to have 24 at the end. So we're going to start with a single crochet. And in the next stitch, we're just going to work in the back loop of the fin where we marked the back loop. So what I usually do is just like insert my hook whilst the stitch marker is still there, just to make sure that I don't lose that loop, and just remove the stitch marker. And we're going to do an increase in that loop. So that's 1 and 2. So for the next one, it's a little bit hard to see here, but it's between, you see where you can see the slip stitch meeting with the next stitch. So that one can be a bit hard to get into, but you're just going to try and push your hook into that stitch. That stitch can be a little bit tight, so don't worry if you really need to push, it's fine, it's okay. So might take a few tries, but it's okay. We're all good. We're going to do a single crochet. Actually, we're going to do 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and an increase. So 2 in the same stitch. 1, 2, and then 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to do the same for this increase. So we're going to do into the back loop of the fin right here. Just going to remove my stitch marker and do an increase. So that's 1 and 2. And again, we're going to go into the one right after the slip stitch. So that's my next stitch here. So if you look at the fin, your slip stitch is right here, and it meets with the next stitch, and that one right here in the corner, right in the corner. So I'm going to insert my hook. Again, it can be a little difficult. Take your time. We're not in a hurry. Just push your hook inside like this. And single crochet. So I'm going to do 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Increase. So 1, 2 in the same stitch, and we're going to finish with 3 single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3, and that's round 4 done. You should have 24 stitches, and it should look like this. For round 5 to round 8, we're going to do single crochet around. So it's just a single crochet in each stitch, always 24 stitches at the end of your round. So it's 4 rounds in total, and I'll do this off camera, and I'll get back to you when I'm done with round 8. I'm now at the end of round 8, and for round 9 we're going to start decreasing. So I'm going to start with a single crochet, and then I'm going to do an invisible decrease. And to do an invisible decrease, you work in the front loop only. So you insert your hook in the first front loop of your next stitch, and then you can tilt down again and insert your hook in the next front loop only. So now we have 3 loops on your hook, your original loop and the 2 front loops. And then I'm going to yarn under, pull through these 2 front loops, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on my hook. And that's your invisible decrease. Now I'm just going to single crochet 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 invisible decrease. So I'm going to insert my hook in the front loop and insert my hook in the front loop of the next stitch, yarn under, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and again 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, another invisible decrease, so insert your hook, front loop again, yarn under, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 4 single crochet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, another invisible decrease, so front loop, and we do our stitch, and then 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3. For round 10, we're going to do 3 single crochet. Oh, and I forgot to mention, at the end of round 9 you should have 20 stitches in total. For round 10 we're going to do 3 single crochet, so that's 1, 2, 3, and an invisible decrease, so front loop, there you go. And I'm going to do that sequence 3 more times, and we're going to end up with 16 stitches at the end. I'll meet you there. I'm now at the end of round 10, and before going any further we're going to place our safety eyes if you decide to use safety eyes. And I usually place them between rounds 7 and 8, but I think this time I'm going to try 6 and 7 just to see what it looks like and to give a bit more options. But of course I'll let you decide what you want to do, where you want to place your eyes. For me, I always go on the opposite side of where I start my rounds, so right here. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, so that's where I'm going to place my eyes, and I still haven't decided if I go for 10 or 12 millimeters. So let's see, and I usually place them 3 stitches apart, so that's 10 millimeter and that is 12 millimeter. For today I'm going to go with 10, and I'm going to go between rounds 6 and 7. But again, this is between rounds 7 and 8, just to give you an idea. And again, 3 stitches apart. My eyes are now secured, and for the next round, that's where we're going to do the tentacles. I highly recommend to mark the back loop of where you're going to do your tentacles. It's to help you for the round afterwards when we are going to work only in the back loop, because they become very hard to see. So if you are a beginner, that's going to be very, very helpful for the next round afterwards. I use stitch markers, but you could use scraps of yarn as well. Especially if you work with tiny pieces like this one, I just use some scraps, and I would put the piece exactly like a stitch marker through my back loop. So I've marked my back loops of my tentacles, so 8 in total, and I'm going to keep them in for the whole round. It's going to make sense, I promise. So for the first tentacle, we are going to work in the front loop only throughout this round. So I'm going to do a half double crochet, so same as the fins, yarn over, insert your hook in the front loop, and it might become a bit harder with the stitch markers, but you're going to get there. And I'm going to yarn under, pull through and pull through the 3 loops. So I'm going to do 2 double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn under, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops. I'm going to do another double crochet and another half double crochet. And I'm going to slip stitch this time in the next stitch. So if you pull on your work, you can see that this is your current stitch and the next one is right here. So I'm going to insert my hook. And again, if you look from the top here, you know that this is your next one because it's in between 2 tentacles. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through and pull through again to create my slip stitch. And then I'm just going to create the next tentacle with you and then do the rest off camera. So half double crochet, front loop, and then double crochet, 2 double crochet. And again, 1 tentacle is done in the same stitch always. And then a half double crochet and a slip stitch in the next stitch, front loop again, only the front loop. So that's 2 tentacles. So we're going to go all around and do the same process and we're going to end up with 8 tentacles. I'm going to do the rest off camera and I'll meet you there. All right, I've finished my tentacles. That's what your octopus should look like. I've still got my stitch markers inside. Before starting the next round, you can stuff your octopus a little bit. I don't do it too much because I don't want to get it in the way. So just a little bit, about halfway through. And then you can start your next round. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go, I just removed my stitch marker, but I'm going to go into the back loop of the first stitch of the first tentacle, just because we're going to work in the back loop only and it's quite far from where we are, and just to have a smoother transition. So if you can see here, that's my next stitch. And if you struggle, a little tip, if you struggle to go into a back loop at any point, you feel like you're slipping and it's not going in, then you can always grab your stitch marker and insert it into where you want to go. So in this case, I want to go in the back loop, and you can simply gently pull on your back loop on your stitch marker and insert your hook, and then you can remove the stitch marker and your hook is in the back loop. It can be for the front loop as well. And so I'm going to do a slip stitch, so yarn over, pull through and pull through again, and then that's where we start working. You don't count this slip stitch, by the way. So we're going to work in the back loop, and that's where our stitch markers become very useful. So I'm going to go into the back loop like so, and now I can remove the stitch marker, and I'm going to do, so at this point we do, instead of doing an invisible decrease, which we have done so far, we're going to do a regular decrease, which is single 2 together. So let me just show you one. So you insert your hook in the back loop, yarn under, pull through, and at this point we're going to look for the other back loop which we haven't marked. So it's in between where we are and the next stitch marker. Can you see this loop? That is the next back loop. So I'm going to insert my hook into that back loop. I'm going to yarn under, pull through. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the 3 loops. That is a regular decrease. I'm going to do the next one. So I'm going to insert my hook into where my stitch marker is, right here. And at this point I can remove my stitch marker. And I'm going to yarn over, yarn under, pull through. And I'm going to grab the other back loop. So this loop right before my stitch marker. So that one right here. Yarn under, pull through, and yarn over and pull through my 3 loops. And that's 2 regular decreases. I'm gonna go around like this to 6 more of this sequence, so 6 more regular decreases, and I should end up with 8 stitches. I'll meet you at the end of this round. When you're done, you can cut a long tail and fasten off, and I completely forgot to do it on camera, so I'm just going to quickly show you. So when you are done with your last stitch, you can simply cut your yarn, a long tail, but just to show you, cut your yarn and you just pull through, and that's fastening off. As simple as that. And I have stuffed my octopus as well. We're just gonna close our opening, and I completely forgot to mention you're gonna need a yarn needle for this step. My apologies, I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the video. So we are going to go into the front loop of the first stitch of the last round. So this is the first stitch. You probably had a stitch marker. I just removed mine, but just to show you. And this is the slip stitch that we did at the end of our tentacles. So we go into the first stitch, we skip the slip stitch. So from outside going in, and then we're going to go from the inside out, again front loop of the next stitch only, and then we're just going to repeat. So next stitch, front loop, outside in, and next stitch, front loop, inside out. And we're going to do this 8 times because we have 8 stitches, so we have done it 4 times now. 5, 6, or if you really want to go quicker, you can always grab the first front loop and go from in out through both. So you grab both, it creates a V, so in and out, and you just pull like so. So now I've done all my 8 stitches. Gently pull to close your opening, and you can just go under. I'm just making sure it's properly closed, and you just go under my stitches, and then I go inside the middle and I hide my tail in my octopus. So I go a few times, maybe 3-4 times. And then I like to come back underneath, and you can cut your tail, just grab your needle and hide the tail into your octopus by pushing it inside the stitch. And there you go, that's your flapjack octopus done. You can see the difference between the eyes. This is between rounds 6 and 7, and that's between 7 and 8. Both very cute. At this point you can also, if you want to add some white around the eyes, or if you want to add some blush or a smile, feel free to add anything you like, be creative, and I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'm always happy to help. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day.